I didn't even record.
Okay.
My timer's set. I think we're good to go.
Hä?
Did you get that? I'm so confused.
Also, ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. You only understand train station? It's all Greek to me.
Understanding Train Station. Living Between Cultures with Josh and Feli.
Welcome back to a new episode of Understanding Train Station.
Welcome back, everyone.
As you can see, we're together in person, which we talked about that in the last episode.
Exactly.
But now we're actually together.
Yeah, we're both in Cincinnati, and we're actually both in the same room now. So that's we thought that we'd take advantage of the opportunity of me being home to try to record a little bit for you guys in person because I feel like the conversation flows better and it's just more interesting. Well, maybe not more interesting, but it's fun.
It's different. It definitely has a different flow to it, as you said. I like it. I personally like it better, even though it's a lot more effort. It took us forever to set everything up. We're in my office right now. I recorded a different video earlier. That's why the white background is here. Mm-hmm. So we just figured let's just use that white background.
I'm also interested if the people who are listening to just the podcast version without the video can tell really when we're having in-person episodes as opposed to over Zoom. I'm guessing yes, but
yeah, I think the audio quality is also different right now because I'm using a different microphone because, as I said, things were difficult to set up. Yeah, and we're not facing each other like we did usually in the past when we first started out with the podcast. And then we're still at the same table, but today we decided to sit next to each other. And then every time we recorded in Munich, we would always face each other.
Yeah, so you guys who are watching on YouTube have a little bit different of an experience now because every once in a while we try to look in the camera and it's actually more natural that way. So it's just weird, but it's fun. I'm looking forward to this week's episode. I'm glad that we're able to record a couple while I'm here home. And yeah, and
we can do the dialect ones again, of course, because that's just something that makes so much more sense to do when we're together in person. So here we are with like dialect guessing episode number, I don't even know, 4?
I think it's 4. Maybe that's something we should have known before we started recording.
I want to say it's like, it's probably 4.
I'm a little afraid, though. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast yet, but since now I've started a new job and I work in the city, I don't hear like Bavarian ever. So I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my skills. So it'll be interesting to look over time to see how much I still understand since my exposure has gone down.
I doubt it. I think you'll still pick up on it.
Once a Bavarian, always a Bavarian.
And everyone always like compliments you and like how good you are at like detecting German accents anyway. So even if you like lose your skills a tiny bit, you'll still be pretty good at it.
I think it was one funny thing that someone said in our hangout that we do once a month. That if I don't know a dialect, I just always say it's from Cologne.
Yeah, even though I feel like typical Kölsch, I definitely recognize. But everything that's like around there, because there is so much like in the Rhineland that doesn't sound like Kölsch. Yeah. And that gets me, because then I'm like, I guess that could be something from there, and I've just like never heard it before. But yeah, without further ado, let's maybe just jump right into the first recording that you guys sent us, which we're going to have to listen to these on separate headphones. As I said, it was kind of complicated.
Tech setup today.
But last time we ended with Sam, and if you don't know how you can send in your recordings of your local dialects and accents, whether that's in English or in German, you can do so on anchor.fm/understandingtrainstation. And then there's like a little plus, and I think it says message button, and you just click on that, and you can send us voice messages directly from your laptop or from your phone. And it's a 1-minute time limit, though. So some people send 2 or 3 messages. We prefer it when it's not too many. So try to keep it somewhat short. And if you do this, it'd be awesome if you could give us kind of like an example of your dialect or accent and then give us a little break for us to guess what it means and to guess where it's from. And then maybe tell us what you said and where you're from. So the next person for today is going to be Annika. Let's hear it.
Hi, my name is Annika, and I have 2 sentences for you that are typical for my dialect. So the first one is, ich wohne da, wo die Hasen Hosen und die Hosen Husenhasen. In Standard German.
Okay. Ich wohne da, wo die Hasen Husen oder wo die Husen Hasen und die Hasen Husen.
I couldn't follow all. I mean,
let's listen to it again.
It didn't even really sound like a dialect.
It didn't. No.
So the first one is, ich wohne da, wo die Hasen Hosen und die Hosen Husenhasen.
Und die Hosen Husenhasen. Wo die Hasen Hosen und die Hosen Husenhasen. So I'm assuming that like the Husen and the Hosen and the Hasen also is a verb or like several verbs or something.
And I feel like whatever in the dialect, probably the vowels tend to be switched compared to what like the standard version would be. I have no clue what it's supposed to mean.
I mean,
besides, it has something to do with Hasen and Hosen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like
So,
something
like
about
rabbits and pants.
and pants. I
But
was
what
thinking
exactly
like
means, I don't
maybe
know.
it's like, and the first part is I live where, like ich wohne da. I was thinking like maybe it's something about where the rabbits have pants and the pants
have
and the
rabbits.
rabbits live there where because then it was switched, right? And then
Can you play it one more time?
this one's more of a like mind game
Yeah.
than it is a dialect.
I would want to see it written out almost.
So the first one is, ich wohne da, wo die Hasen Hosen und die Hosen Husenhasen.
But
where the pants have something.
but with the Hasen Hosen. But what could Hosen mean?
It could be Hausen, like as in to live,
That would make sense.
where the rabbits live.
I'm just
wo die
trying to think if there's a
Hasen hausen.
dialect where they changed the AU to
Und wo die
O.
Hosen, Husenhasen. I was like, does Hasen, could that just mean haben? Do they? But
Yeah.
that's kind of a weird way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even geographically locate where I think it would be. I mean, I think more central. I think central east, but there's nothing in her accent that makes me think like Sächsisch or anything like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying
you've
to
stumped
think.
me on this one.
Sometimes dialects like remind me of something, but I can't really tell what it is. Like some piece of media, like
Yeah.
television or something. And I might be completely off, but a little bit I thought of like, I know I say this a lot, but like Northern German. I don't know why, but I just thought about Captain Blaubeer,
Okay.
which is this kids show. I don't know. Have you
Yeah,
ever heard of it?
I've heard of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I haven't seen
And
it.
he
though.
has a very strong like Hamburg kind of Northern German like Seemanns
Yeah.
accent. What's a Seemann?
like a sailor.
Sailor, yeah. But I'm probably completely off with that. Let's see what she says.
In Standard German, ich wohne da, wo wir zu Hasen Hosen und zu Hosen Husen sagen.
Sagen.
Ah,
Okay.
is that what she said
So-
on? Yeah,
So one of these words meant sagen.
yeah, the last one.
In English, it would be something like, I live where we call rabbits trousers and trousers Hosen. The second phrase is, do mal do den Rollo do no.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's Eastern Germany. I feel like there's a place that's in the Czech Republic that still speaks German, and they have a dialect that's very similar to this. That's why I
Okay.
think it's something there, but I could be wrong.
Okay, let's listen to it again.
Yep.
The second phrase is, do mal do den Rollo do no.
Okay, so but see, to me, that again gave me kind of like
But it does
a
have northern
Northern
vibes,
German,
too. I don't
like
know.
this kind of like almost Dutch sounding
Uh-huh.
thing. Because like people there also kind of roll their R's sometimes in certain words.
This one has got me pretty stumped. Do 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 do
Like,
do do. It
don't
almost
know.
sounds like a banjo.
Yeah, it sounds like a different. It sounds more like English a little bit. That's why I'm thinking like maybe it's more like towards like Friesisch or Plattdeutsch
Yeah.
or
Maybe they're from
Dutch or something like that.
Ostfriesland or something.
okay. I just completely switched up the languages again. Regarding what it actually meant,
Something probably with there. I'm guessing that da turns to do.
let's listen to it one more time because I didn't
Uh-huh.
even try and understand it.
The second phrase is, do mal do den Rollo do no. In Standard,
Maybe
Absolutely
something
not
with noch.
Don't know, don't
No.
know.
Just because I'm Bavarian, noch is like
No.
no.
Yeah.
So that's the only. But and I'm guessing that da is in there somewhere. It
Yeah.
becomes do.
I have no clue what this
I
is
have no
supposed
clue.
to
Let's
mean.
see.
Though.
German, tu mal dort den Rollo runterfahren. And in English,
Tu mal dort den Rollo runterfahren.
pull down the blind there. Can you guess where I'm from?
I mean, I don't have a guess. Like I said, I had like some vibes of Eastern, like I said, because of that. I saw like a reportage, I think, from
Yeah.
NDR that was about like this dialect where it's oh.
Okay,
And I thought,
I mean,
I thought that was
possible.
on the Czech border.
That's
but
definitely possible,
I could be
especially
wrong.
because like people from those countries do roll their R's as well. So like I could see that too. So I'm gonna just stick because I said that earlier. I'm gonna stick with my Captain Blaubeer,
Yeah.
Northern German guess, and we'll see who's right. You're
We
probably
will.
right.
I
don't know.
live in Franken, so
oh, really?
Franconia.
Oh gosh, we're so wrong. Okay. Franconia is a part of Bavaria. We've talked about Franconia before several times, and they do have that thing where they roll their R's really strongly.
It didn't sound like.
But now I see it a little bit because in Bavarian also you can do the bend vowel thing, like where you say, let's give me a good example. Wie geht's?
Like the diphthong.
In some Bavarian dialects they do that. It's not like everyone who speaks Bavarian does that, but some people do that. I think it's more Niederbayerisch.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if that's true, but that's my
gut feeling about it.
Yeah, that's my
gefährliches Halbwissen.
What am I looking for? Connotation kind of that I get for some reason, like people who are from there I think do that. But yeah, so we were completely off.
Yeah, we did not get that.
Franken.
You've tricked us, Annika. Let's see what else she had to say.
Yeah.
So, have a nice day. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Thanks, Annika.
Danke, Annika. As you could tell, we completely failed. So
this is a great start to this episode. I feel like we're normally pretty good at this, and
you are.
That was not a strong start.
Okay, the next name looks like it's going to be English, but we'll see. It's Brian.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Feli. Love the podcast. Thought I'd send in a contribution for your dialect series.
Sounds Irish,
So I have 2 examples for you. Here's the first one.
He sounds American to me.
Okay.
Jeet yet? Nah, what you want? About a hoagie.
Yeah, he's from...
Okay, yeah. For a second, I thought he was like, there was an Irish thing.
Yeah, I thought so too, especially because of his last name here.
Yeah. I understood all of that, I think. Hold on, let me listen again.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 examples for you. Here's the first one. Jeet yet? Nah, what you want? About a hoagie.
Okay, so I want to guess because obviously you understood.
No, exactly. I was going to quiz you a little.
Okay. So I think he said, "Did you eat yet? No, what do you want? What about a hoagie?"
Yeah.
Which is like a sandwich, right?
Exactly, but can you tell based off of his word choice where he's from in the U.S.?
No. I would have. Okay, for some reason, my first guess was like East Coast.
Okay,
like,
why?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know.
Okay. So for me, at least, there's nothing in his accent that screams East Coast, but in his word choice.
What is it, hoagie or what?
Hoagie.
Okay.
Most people, at least here in Ohio, wouldn't say hoagie. We've heard of hoagies before. Yeah. I think of like La Rosa's. It's a pizza chain around here, and they have hoagies. But a hoagie is like a sub. We would call a sub, so like a big sandwich.
Yeah.
But hoagie is a very East Coast term, and I would guess probably like Philadelphia, that general area, rather than like far up in the in New England. But I could be wrong. But that would make sense why you would then say East Coast. But there's not like anything distinct that I heard that screamed East Coast to me. But I get Pennsylvania vibes, so that's why I said Philadelphia.
So did you follow that? I thought I'd try to capture how a lot of Americans tend to drop the first syllables of a word.
Did you eat yet?
Especially at the beginning of a sentence when they're in a very casual conversation. So phrases like, how about might just come out as bout. And if you say, did you or do you want, it'll often come out as did you or even just ja. Or no, what you want instead of what do you want. So I don't know if this is peculiar to a specific region. I've been told that the phrase jeet yet for did you eat yet is very southern, but I hear it here in the Mid-Atlantic as well.
Okay, so he's Mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
So that I'm not too far off.
So where is Mid-Atlantic?
I believe I'm not 100% sure, but like Maryland, Northern Virginia, I think all of that is considered Mid-Atlantic. I think even Jersey. So, I mean, it's all that general area. But I think Philadelphia is part of the Mid-Atlantic. I'm going to say it is, so I get credit for that. But I wouldn't say jeet yet. I would say yeet. Like yeet. How would I say it?
Did you eat yet?
Did I don't know. I speak so proper that I probably. I would probably say G yet. No, I wouldn't. I would never say that. Did you eat
No,
yet?
you just wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
but I feel like, I mean, I know what he's saying. I feel like overall, that might be like a little bit more particular to one area, because I feel like overall people in the South, for example, speak like a little bit slower and like have their vowels stretched out more. Whereas like maybe that's why I thought that it was East Coast. I feel like East Coast people tend to tend to speak a little bit faster. Brian also sent in a second recording, so let's see what his second example is.
Hallo, Bahnhof verstehende Josh und Feli. This is Brian with another phrase for you. So this time representing the stereotypical dialect of my hometown. We're going down the ocean, hun. So can you guess where I'm from?
We're going down to the ocean, hun?
Uh-huh.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. But
I mean, that sounds southern to me with the hun a little bit. Or do they do that in Virginia too?
I was going to say, I'm guessing that he's from coastal Virginia. I can't remember exactly where, but there's something in his vowels, something waters. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but he does some rounding on the OU vowels that are, which is similar to what they do in Canada with like how boat and house.
Yeah.
So he said, I think we're going down to the water, which makes, and I'm pretty sure there's a region in Virginia, like coastal Virginia, that says
it would
that.
make sense to be like that he has an example sentence about the ocean.
Yeah.
So let's see.
From? In more standard English, I just said, we're going down to the ocean. And this is how people from Baltimore talk about visiting the sea. Almost always talking about Maryland's main beach town, Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay.
So now I live in Delaware, which is only about an hour east of Baltimore. And here the people usually say, I'm going to the beach. And if you go another hour up the interstate near Philadelphia or New Jersey, people tend to say they're going to the shore. So I always thought it's kind of funny how people
that's interesting.
Talk about the same kind of thing using slightly different vocabulary and, of course, different dialects.
So this was also about him saying, let's go down to the ocean instead of the beach or the shore.
His word choice as well as the pronunciation.
Yeah.
So I was off as far as the state.
But
Maryland.
you still said Maryland earlier.
I did say Maryland earlier, so I'm going to take credit for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really interesting as far as word choice is concerned. Like I noticed that with my roommate Lachlan as well. Sometimes we'll be talking about the same thing, but just have different phrases that we use to describe things. I mean, for example, I would never say I need to go to hospital or he's at hospital.
Yeah.
I would always have the.
Yeah.
But at least in Australian English, and I believe in the UK too, it's very normal to say let's go to hospital or he's at hospital.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Dropping that. So like there are those little phrases that I think can give away where you're from as well.
Yeah.
Like I think we had an example in a previous episode with hop on the
I-70
or 365 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, those little things can give you away.
Yeah, it was like the interstate or the freeway out in LA. Yeah, cool. Thanks for the examples,
thank you,
Brian. Really appreciate that. The next one comes from Tim.
Hi Josh, hi Feli. My name is Tim. I want to say how much I like you guys' podcast. Your channel, it's amazing. I like it. I watch it all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
And I want you guys to try to take a wild guess of where I'm from. Give you a little hint. My hometown is, we're big sports people in this area. We have football and soccer is like what we live for. And we have literally the best pizza and hot dogs is like what we're famous for.
I have no clue. I'm guessing either New York or Chicago.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I thought New York too.
There was nothing in his accent that made me think one or the other.
Yeah.
But basically, based purely off of hot dogs and pizza, I'm choosing either New York or Chicago. But
Chicago.
I'm leaning more towards Chicago.
Okay. So Chicago does have soccer. I know that because Bastian Schweinsteiger played for Chicago.
Yeah, then it's
does New York have soccer?
I'm sure New York does.
Yeah.
I just don't know of the New York team.
Yeah.
Hi Josh, hey Feli, this is Tim. I want to reveal my where I'm from.
Okay, let's hear
in
it.
case you didn't figure it out. My hometown is Illinois in the Midwest, about 5 to 6 hours from Ohio, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I'm in a little country town, right, kind of like 3 hours from Chicago.
Oh, 3 hours. Okay.
So not Chicago itself, but general Illinois.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, and also good guess, Josh.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Elise or Elise. Let's see.
Hallo Josh und Feli, ich komme aus einem Land, in dem Englisch gesprochen wird.
Okay.
Und ich möchte wissen, in welchem Teil Deutschlands ich mich anhöre, als käme ich aus. Ich habe Deutsch nur in der Schule gelernt und ich will es wissen.
Okay, I'm going to pause real quick because this is all in
Yeah.
German. So she says that she's from an English-speaking country, and but the whole message is obviously in German, and that she learned German in school, and she's curious to find out which region she sounds like in German, if she has like a local
Yeah.
influence there. Do we want to keep listening for a second?
Well, no, I don't because I want to try to figure out what English-speaking country she's. As far as what region from Germany, I don't feel like she has a specific.
No, I mean, it's obvious that she's not a native speaker. She also made a few grammatical mistakes, which is like not a problem at all. But obviously, you wouldn't think that she's actually a native speaker. But I feel like overall, it's a very just neutral accent.
Yeah, I mean,
not
the
like,
accent is very, very clear, very understandable.
not like what you had with your teacher, Frau König from Erfurt, where you
Exactly.
had like a little bit of an Eastern influence at first when you first started speaking German. I think hers is just very standard German.
Yeah, exactly. As far as what English-speaking country she might be from, I'm guessing like Australia because I think her accent when she's speaking German sounds very similar to Lachlan.
Okay.
But then again, I haven't spoken with too many Americans who speak German, and I feel like because of maybe the way that she was pronouncing some of the R's, she could also be North American.
Okay.
I don't know though.
Let's keep listening.
Which it could be. That was the most useless comment. She might be Australian, but she also might be American.
But
Who knows? Covering my bases.
There's also South Africa, UK.
I don't think she's
so-
South Africa.
So what I'm saying is you did
narrow it down.
narrow it
somewhat.
down. Yeah, thank you.
I'd also like you to guess where I come from in the English-speaking world. A lot of people
No, she's Australian.
can't tell for some reason, even though I think it's really obvious. And I'm going to give you a couple more seconds. 3,
Actually,
2, 1.
she,
Hold on, I want to listen
The
again. I wasn't ready for her to switch to
Yeah.
English.
Ich habe Deutsch nur in der Schule gelernt und ich will es wissen.
no, she speaks so much like
I'd also
Lachlan.
like you to guess where I come from in the English-speaking world. A lot of people can't tell for some reason, even though I think it's really obvious. And I'm going to give you a couple more seconds. 3, 2.
What do you think?
I honestly, I thought at first I would have definitely guessed just like standard British. Then I
okay.
would have been like, okay, maybe New Zealand or Australia, which I think I told you that I
Yeah.
can't really tell those two apart a lot,
That's hard.
unless if they do the Kiwi A sound,
Yeah.
because then I always recognize it. I don't think she did that though.
I don't
So
think
like
either. The way that she said seconds made me think for a second, maybe she's Kiwi, but no.
that's
I
yeah,
think
and that's
I
when
would-
she
I
said
would be
seconds, but I think they would say more. They would have pronounced it a little bit harsher.
Stronger.
Seconds.
Go ahead, Feli. Give it a try.
Seconds.
No, I'm confident it's Australian.
Okay.
1. I'm from Australia, more specifically Brisbane, which is why I don't have that
She.
type of tone that you would usually hear.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for guessing.
She actually sounds. First of all, thank you, Elise.
Yeah.
She actually sounds a lot like one of my Australian friends' partners, like his girlfriend. Like they sound very similar.
Okay.
And they're from Brisbane.
Okay, that makes sense then. I'm impressed that by her German accent, you could guess that.
Like I said, I think there was something about the way that she was phrasing, like it sounded very much like Lachlan.
Yeah.
And you haven't spoken too much German with Lachlan, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
you probably haven't spoken too much German with Australians.
No.
But I think maybe it was just because of that baseline.
Interesting. Definitely, like, your pronunciation was extremely good.
Yeah,
so
it was great.
That is just something that I wanted to say because there just wasn't a very strong accent at all in the German part. Thank you, Elise. The next dialect sample comes from Dale. And I said dialect sample because that's what he put in his message.
Hey, Josh and Feli. This is Dale, and I love this dialect series.
Thank you. Glad you like it.
Come here
Yes,
once
it's one
and
of my
try
favorite.
these chips. Think they're fresh enough to serve tonight or no? I should never have opened this big bag.
Big
I'm going
bag.
down by Dad's house in a little bit, so I'll pick up a fresh package for tonight on the way home.
Package.
I have to hit a time machine to pick him up some cash first. Do you want to come with? I'm sure he'd be happy to see us both. My dialect is Eastern
Shit, sorry.
It's okay.
Is that what you would have guessed?
I would have guessed Minnesota, not Wisconsin. but still definitely upper Midwest. Could you
Okay.
tell it was upper Midwest?
Okay,
Or
my
where-
first guess, I don't have a lot of experience with that. Minnesota, I just know like Minnesota. Like that's what people like make fun of it as.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have guessed that. My first guess would have been like like northern Ohio, like
okay.
Cleveland, because I know that people always say that they do the bag and the cash or whatever he did. But maybe it's probably slightly different. I could definitely hear that he spoke differently than we do. So yeah, my guess would have probably been Northern Ohio because I have a lot of exposure to that because there's a lot of people here in Southern Ohio who come from Cleveland. So like I've heard that a lot, but I don't think I've heard a lot of people from Wisconsin.
No, I mean I've talked to quite a few people from Wisconsin and like Minnesota. It's slightly different. I feel like it's more extreme than you hear in Northern Ohio.
Yeah.
But it's a slight difference, so I think it makes sense that you would still think it was Northern Ohio, but definitely upper Midwest.
Specifically Sheboygan and Milwaukee, and a few of the classics are stretched vowel sounds in bag and package and both.
Yeah.
Adding once after an action or an action request. Saying down.
A what?
Adding the word once after an action.
As in, did he do that?
I will have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
Down by instead of to when referencing a physical location.
Okay.
Adding or no after a question or saying come with instead of come along. And calling an ATM a time machine, which was the branding here for decades.
I was confused by the
If you
time
hear
machine
that,
thing.
You know it's a Wisconsinite.
A time machine?
Yeah.
Where's the time machine taking you? What?
But you heard him. I guess it was the brand name of a type of ATM in that area, and that's why they call it a time machine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Makes me think though of like the difference between the way that Austrians and Germans refer to an ATM in Germany is just a Geldautomat.
Yeah.
But in
what's it in Austria again?
Do you know?
I've heard it before, but I can't.
Bankomat.
Yeah, bankomat. Yeah. But you see that sometimes. Even I feel like, do you see that in Germany too, or have I only seen that in Austria?
Bankomat.
Like, yeah, like as on a sign.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen it in Germany. I know in the UK they call it a cash point.
I would have definitely known what a bankomat is. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to it again because I now want to listen to all these different examples, knowing that.
Hey, Josh and Feli. This is Dale, and I love this dialect series. Come here once and try these chips.
Come here once. Okay. Huh. I wouldn't have picked up on that, honestly.
Neither would I.
Enough to serve tonight or no?
Or
I
no.
should never have opened this big bag. I'm going down by Dad's house in a little bit, so
I'm going down by,
for tonight on the way home.
Instead of 2.
I have to hit a time machine to pick him up some cash first. Do you want to come with? I'm sure he'd be happy to see us both.
Yeah, the time machine I never would have understood.
My dialect is Eastern Wisconsin.
I feel like I've heard people say, "Do you want to come with?"
Yeah, I feel like that's not super regional. I've heard that as well. Yeah, do you want to come with? But the other ones I would never say.
Yeah. But at the same time, it didn't feel super out of place.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel super awkward to hear that.
Wisconsin, specifically Sheboygan.
Okay, well, that was it. Thank you, Dale.
Thanks, Dale.
That was very interesting, and thanks for teaching us a lot. Like I didn't know those things.
Very Midwestern.
Yeah.
Very upper Midwestern.
Okay, the next one comes from.
Also, did you pick up on what someone from Wisconsin is called?
No, did he say that?
I mean, at the end, it wasn't part of his, like the message, but he said it at the end. Do you know what someone who's from Wisconsin is called?
No.
A Wisconsinite.
Wisconsinite instead of Wisconsinner.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd have an Ohioan and a Wisconsinite.
Okay, I did not know
funny.
that. Would you spell that like Nite? Okay.
Wisconsin, ITE.
Okay, that's funny. Okay, the next message comes from Caesar. Cool name.
Hey Josh, hey Feli. My name is Caesar, and I just wanted to say that I'm a big fan of the podcast.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you.
like the job you guys do.
Thanks.
I really think it helps a lot of people with the culture and everything. So yeah, I just thought of sending this audio, and hopefully you guys can figure out where I'm from until the end of the audio. I'm just gonna speak a little bit about myself, and then I'll reveal where I'm from. I am 23 years old, and I'm currently living in Germany. But I'm not German, and I will probably go back to my country within the next couple of months. I'm just here for an internship. And yeah, if you guys haven't been able to figure this one out.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, I'm guessing based off of his name that he is...
Like Italian?
No. Based off of his name, I'm guessing that he speaks Spanish and that he's from a Spanish-speaking country.
So Spain.
No.
Maybe.
I'm guessing that he went to an American school growing up.
Okay.
Because his
he
English
sounds
is very
American.
American.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling about this. Somewhere in Central America. So not like Mexico or South America.
Okay.
Like Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador. Those type of areas. That's just my gut feeling. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
There's not a method to my madness.
No, it's just crazy how like specific you are with your guesses.
That's just the feeling I get. So
that's
we'll
why you're the
right.
master at this. All right, let's see if that's true. I literally wouldn't have known. I would have just known that he sounds very American, but like not quite like a native speaker.
One out yet. I am from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Once again,
Brazil.
Close
keep
enough.
up with the good work. And yeah, see you.
Not Spanish speaking, but close enough.
Not Spanish speaking and not Central America. Sorry,
like,
Caesar.
I wouldn't have even like known that I would have to place it there. Like it could have literally to me also been like, I don't know, like Arabic or something, like a different.
Mm-hmm. But now that I know that he's Brazilian, it makes sense with some of his vowels.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit more, we'll say, life to them.
Mm-hmm.
A little rounder.
Okay.
Which is very like Brazilian Portuguese.
Okay.
Very expressive.
I don't know if I heard that in his message, but
yeah. Thanks for sending it in.
Yeah, thank you so much, and greetings to Germany if you're still there right now. Okay, next one comes from Paul, and his message says, "I'm Paul, and I talk funny." Hey guys, this is Feli from post-production. Just a quick disclaimer before we start listening to Paul. In the following 5 to 10 minutes, we experienced some audio issues, unfortunately. You will be hearing a little bit of a cracking sound on my end, and then I actually decided to just turn my microphone down completely. So you'll be hearing me mainly through Josh's microphone, and I think you'll be able to tell that he just sounds a lot louder, and I'm more like in the background. So just wanted to let you know that this is nothing on your end, and we'll go back to the normal microphone setup towards the end of the episode. I just wanted to let you know, and now let's get back to Paul. Let's hear
Hi,
it.
Josh and Feli. I'm Paul, and I love the show, especially because my Opa was one of those German soldiers who only understood train station. I'm from Manchester.
Shit.
So what were you going to guess?
Honestly, no clue. Like, I didn't even know that I was already supposed to guess.
But could you tell what country it was from at least?
I didn't even think about it. I was like just listening.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning I was a little confused. I thought maybe he was like Irish, but then it quickly moved towards Britain or the UK. And I wouldn't have guessed Southern England. I would have guessed England, but more Northern England as opposed to Southern England. But he told us where he was from.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I paused it too late.
But I guess that he has...
Hold on.
In the north of England. Cheers.
Cheers. Let me hear it again.
Yeah.
Hi, Josh and Feli. I'm Paul, and I love the show, especially because my Opa was one of those German soldiers who only understood train station.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have. I mean, I would have definitely guessed like probably UK. Like this, there's like one word in there that also made me think Irish.
I just think it was like his...
I'm Paul, and I love the show.
I think the way that he said, I love this show.
I'm Paul, and I love the show.
Yeah, I think that's...
But
like, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to really pinpoint it anywhere in the UK, because honestly, I mean, obviously a strong Scottish accent is very obvious, but it just sounded pretty like standard English to me.
Yeah, I think the love is very typical of like Northern England.
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't have guessed the South, but yeah, I wouldn't have been able to guess Manchester based off of that.
Yeah, I don't even know how people like speak differently there. Okay.
But thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. And we're actually listening to the last one for today, I think. As I said, if you guys want to send in your examples, you can do so on anchor.fm/understanding train station. I know for some people it's like a little bit difficult. There's a few messages that we had to skip. Not even today, but like the last times, because there was like a weird background noise, like a kind of like a cracking sound on it. So I don't know if that's because of the devices that people use. So if there is a reason that you really can't do it that way, you can also send your recording just as an MP3 to our email address, which is understandingtrainstation@gmail.com. But we personally prefer to have it on Anchor if possible, because then we can just go through this list. We don't have to save these somewhere. And also this little time limit actually makes it really,
short and concise.
To the point, yeah. So let's listen to Andre.
Yeah, Andre.
Andre?
Hey guys, my name is Andre. I discovered Feli's YouTube channel recently, and I found the content to be fascinating. I really enjoy listening to people discuss different cultures, how they clash, and that sort of stuff that Feli does on a consistent basis.
Thank you.
I grew up in a European country with a North American mother. I'll be that specific. I want you to guess the North American accent that I'm speaking with, or at least where I could have gotten my influences from my mother then.
Okay, I mean,
hard.
if he says North American, it has to be Canada or the U.S.
Yeah,
But I guess which region?
I was already guessing Canada just because of the pronunciation of, I don't know, he pronounces his consonants very clearly. I have no basis for it, but I'm guessing he's probably generally from like the Toronto area.
Okay.
But it's just my guess.
I guess I'll just keep listening because I don't really have a guess.
Och sen så pratar jag också ett nordiskt språk som jag gör just nu. Och det ska bli spännande.
Hold up, can you...
Which language are we speaking
He switched to a Scandinavian language, so...
I'm just going to back up the whole
Yeah,
thing.
go for it. Let's hear it again.
Hey guys, my name is Andre. I discovered Feli's YouTube channel recently, and I found the content to be fascinating. I really enjoy listening to people discuss different cultures, how they clash, and that sort of stuff that Feli does on a consistent basis. I grew up in a European country with a North American mother. I'll be that specific. I want you to guess the North American accent that I'm speaking with, or at least where I could have gotten my influences from.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, though, I feel like it could also just be something from like the Pacific Northwest, not necessarily Canada or the U.S., but
like one of the two.
I get
up there.
I get like so like Vancouver area. Okay. I don't know where I come up with these guesses, but that's just the vibes I was getting.
They've been pretty close. So like I really don't know because with Canada, like I can tell like your typical like Canadian like O sound, like the like
which she doesn't have.
No, which she doesn't do that. I feel like in Ontario, people speak pretty like standard like American English in my perception.
Yeah.
I can tell like obviously if there is like a French influence or something like that, but I honestly don't even know how people in British Columbia speak differently. Like I don't know.
Don't ask me. Like I said, I just got the Pacific Northwest vibes.
Okay, let's see if you're right.
Och sen så pratar jag också ett nordiskt språk som jag gör just nu. Och det ska bli spännande att se om ni kan gissa det här också. I'm gonna reveal in 3, 2, 1. I grew up in Sweden and my mother is from California.
Okay.
What? Okay, you were completely.
So, I made the right decision to change from Toronto to West Coast, but still not the proper region.
California and like Pacific Northwest is a little bit different though.
It is.
Accents, right?
Yeah.
Like California usually has like a very specific.
Especially Southern California.
Yeah, maybe it's from Northern.
Yeah,
from
who
Northern
knows?
California. We don't know that.
I would not have guessed California though. So you stumped us.
Swedish, I didn't understand anything. I don't know what you said there. I know that Swedish has like a strong German influence too, but I can't like understand that when I hear it.
I kind of want to hear the Swedish portion again and see if I can pick up anything.
It also came like completely like I was
out of the blue. Yeah.
Det är också ett nordiskt språk.
Nordiskt
som jag gör just nu. Och det ska bli spännande att se om ni kan gissa det här också. So I'm gonna reveal in 3.
I just know that like yai or whatever he said means I. And that's it.
Yeah.
No clue. But thank you for sending it in, Andre. It was really, really interesting.
That was very interesting. I would not have known that. Like, I didn't even know that you grew up in a Scandinavian country until I heard you speak that language. And I was like, oh, okay. But I also didn't know specifically that was Swedish. I would have just guessed something like up north.
There's one actor that his voice actually reminded me of.
Really?
I'm trying to remember what the actor's name is.
Is it a Swedish actor?
It's a Swedish-American actor.
Okay.
Which is
That's
why
funny.
probably
Maybe
why I
that's
thought of
him.
that. Who knows? But he I think he was in House of Cards.
Okay, I haven't seen that actually.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. But there's an actor, a Swedish-American actor that sounds very similar to you.
Okay.
So who knows? I don't think it's the same person.
Maybe
but.
he knows who you're talking about. But
Yes.
thank you, Andre, and thanks to everyone who sent something in for today's episode. And that's the end of this episode. We're going to do another dialect guessing episode next time we're together in person, which might actually be kind of soon because I might be home for Easter. We'll see. That means that by then you guys have to submit a few more dialects and accents for us to guess. And am I wrong, or was there only one German one today?
I think there was truly only one, which is kind of the exception, because normally it's very German heavy. So thanks for sending in some I was going to say some American ones, some English ones. Because it's nice to kind of change it up, and then you have to guess a little bit more than I do.
Except, like, I'm usually clueless. So it doesn't get as interesting, but you were pretty good at guessing. So, thank you guys so much for listening. Also, we hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you could guess along a little bit. Of course, leave all your comments and everything that you wanted to correct us on or that you wanted to add in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube right now. In case you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can also just go over to YouTube and leave your comment, or if you want to tell us something about the episode, just send us an email to understandingtrainstation@gmail.com. And of course, as you know, you can also support us and support this podcast. I feel like we've gotten a lot of positive feedback today, so thank you guys for all of that. You can do so by you can leave us a tip on anchor.fm as well if you're already there, which we never mention because it's like such a little niche thing, but that does work. So if you go to anchor.fm/understandingtrainstation, you can also leave us a little tip. But our main platforms are Patreon, where we have our little Patreon community, our Patreon supporters that support us with a monthly donation, and they also get a little bit back. Some extra content, the monthly hangout sessions, where we're just like in a Google Meets meeting, and we just it's like a camera meeting. How do you call that?
Just a virtual meeting.
It's a video meeting. And we just talk about things that we talked about in the episodes, but also completely different topics sometimes. And you don't have to participate in those. You can if you want to. And you can also support us on buymeacoffee.com/UTS podcast. Unfortunately, they recently discontinued their collaboration with PayPal. So I think now you can only send us money there if you just use your debit or credit card, which is a little unfortunate. But that's also just a way to send us some extra money, like a little, coffee money, some tips. And you can also buy Understanding Train Station merch on felifromgermany.com, and then there's a little Understanding Train Station tab.
All that to say.
I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just going to say thanks so much for hanging out with us again this week. I love doing these dialect episodes, and it sounds like you guys really enjoy them as well. So please make sure that you send us plenty of recordings so we can continue the series. We look forward to seeing you guys again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, see you then. Tschüss.
Ciao.